Hello and welcome back to Best Bets. What's going on? I am Matt O'Leary, joined by Newsday's Joe Maniello. Joe, how's it going?
Doing good, Matt. How are you?
Doing pretty good. After a good week for me in week 9, really right back in the hole again in week 10, 1-4 weeks. So that dropped me to 17, 34-1. You went pretty good, 3-2, 27, 23-1 here heading into week 11 of the NFL season. It's crazy that it's week 11 already.
Yeah, almost Thanksgiving goes so fast.
Absolutely. So we'll jump right into it. Both locals are in action this week. The Jets and the Dolphins are at 1 o'clock. Dolphins are favored by 3.5. Who do you like here?
Yeah, I like the Jets here a lot. 3.5 points. It was 3 most of the week, and we're taping it a couple of days later than usual, so we're getting the benefit of the half point here. I just don't get the spread. I mean, I know the Jets stink, but so do the Dolphins. I mean, just because they beat the Ravens on Thursday Night Football, everyone's convinced they're a good team now. I mean, they caught the Ravens at the exact perfect time, 4 days on a short week, 4 days after an overtime game. So the Baltimore had just played basically a fifth quarter, and they catch them at home in Miami. And they caught him. I took the Ravens in that game, so I was, a bad read by myself. But I don't think the Dolphins all of a sudden are a good team. They were 1-7, then they beat the 1-win Texans, and they caught the Ravens at the perfect time. So to me, they're right on the same level as the Jets. Their defense is a solid defense, so I get why people are like, oh, the Jets aren't going to be able to score. And the Jets defense has been awful. They've allowed 45 points in 3 of the last 4 games. But it's not like the Dolphins have a great offense. I think this is a low-scoring game. 13-10, 16-13. I'm going Jets to win the game outright. I think this is one of those games where no one's, maybe other than you and me, no one's really picking the Jets to win here. So I think this is one of those games, not as big as an upset, obviously, as Titans and Bengals. But I think it's one of those where the Jets defense shows up. Robert Saleh's team shuts up its Rex coach, Mr. Ryan. And I think they win the game outright. I'm going 17-16 Jets.
Okay, there you go. I agree with you. I also think the Jets can win this game outright. I thought this spread should have been closer to a pick 'em.
Exactly.
I don't get how it's 3.5 points. And even with the extra half there, if Miami does end up winning, I'm confident that it's going to be a close game. So if Dolphins win by 3, still cover with the Jets. So I'm more than willing to take them at plus 3.5. I actually kind of like that Joe Flacco's starting this game for them because I think he'll be able to push the ball down the field a little bit more, where Mike White was just everything was underneath. And I think last week the Bills were really sitting on that. And if the Dolphins went with that same game plan, I think it would have worked again against this Jets team. And the Dolphins pass rush is really good. So the Jets offensive line is going to have to hold up. But I think with Flacco, the veteran who has a little bit more experience, I think he'd be better suited than White in this spot. And I'm going to take him 23-20. I think there's a little bit more scoring, but still relatively close in a relatively low scoring game.
Okay.
As for the Giants and the Bucks, the Buccaneers are favored by 10.5, big number. Who do you like here, Joe?
Oh, now it's down to 10.5, so that tells you money's coming in on the Giants. I think it was 11 or 11.5 a couple days ago. I like the Giants here. I think it's a tough one because I feel like if I fell asleep Monday at 8 o'clock and woke up the next morning and turned the TV on and the Giants lost 34-17, I would not be shocked. I mean, Tampa Bay hasn't won since week 7. They lost at New Orleans, then had the bye, and then last week they got upset at Washington. Bruce Arians called the team very dumb. So I think this is a perfect spot for them to bounce back here. I think Brady will obviously play well. I think they'll win the game. But I think 10.5 is just too big. I think the Giants, they're off a bye as well. The Bucks were off a bye last week. Giants are off a bye. They've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. They have an outside shot at making the playoffs, 3-6 with a pretty good schedule here. So I think they'll be motivated. This is the place where Daniel Jones had his best game ever in his first start. Not that really matters, but maybe to him it does a little bit. I think Giants defense has played better the last few weeks. So I think as long as they score like 20, 24 points, they can cover. I don't think they're going to give up 40. So if they can score 21, 23, 24, I think they can lose by, 6 to 10 points, maybe even less. I think they'll be competitive. I think it's a close game. I like the idea they had 2 weeks to prepare. And the Bucks, they were great in the first half, but they haven't looked that great the last few weeks. So I'm not sure they're, going to steamroll them here. So I think it'll be a close game. So Giants plus 10.5. I think they lose by maybe 7.
Yeah, I'm with you again, 2 for 2 here. Just because I think the Giants off a bye, number one, helps them. And this almost feels like one of those times where a team who's down a little bit, they get up for a game like this. They kind of coming off a big win before the bye week too, an upset at home over the Raiders. Giants have been a little inconsistent on the road, but one thing that I will say about this Tampa Bay team, I don't really love their defense this year. I think they regressed from last year. So I don't think the Giants offense is bad enough to be in a spot where they're going to be chasing by more than 2 touchdowns. I think it'll be a relatively close game. Maybe the Giants give us a backdoor cover and only, they lose by 10, something like that. But I really think to my heart of hearts, this is going to be a close game. Like, I don't know, 27-23, something like that. A little back and forth. And we know the Giants get up to play against Tom Brady too. So maybe that's a factor.
That's a good point.
Let's go to our game of the week. We are on the Cowboys and the Chiefs. The Chiefs are favored by 2.5 here. Who do you like?
Yeah, we pick a lot of Chiefs games here. Well, last week we were both wrong with the Raiders game. They finally showed up. Mahomes, five touchdowns, 400 yards. They won 41-14. So, you want to take the Chiefs here. I totally get it. But I'm going to go with the Cowboys. I feel like the Chiefs, we both picked them to win the AFC this year. If they make it to the Super Bowl, I won't be shocked. They have Mahomes. They have Reed. They have all those playmakers. But I need to see them be the top team here. I need to see them stop Dak Prescott and the Cowboys' number 1 ranked offense before I'm back on the Chiefs bandwagon. So, doing it against the Raiders, who are a reeling team right now, and beating the Giants 2017, the Packers without Aaron Rodgers 13-7. Let me see you beat the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are going to score at least 24, 27 points, probably in the 30s. I think they're going to win the game outright. I think Dallas is a better team. I think people just love backing the Chiefs here because of Mahomes and the last couple of years, how great they've been. But we talk about it all the time. They're 3-7 against the spread. Cowboys are 8-1. They've been the NFL's best bet, right ahead of the Packers. So I think the Cowboys win the game outright. I think they have too much offense. Last week was that's the team Dallas. It's, the week before against Denver. That was just blip on the radar, one of those games. I think last week is a team that they really are a high-scoring team, lots of weapons. And I think overall they're the better team, better defense. I think they win the game outright. I think it's close, high-scoring game. I have it 37-34 Dallas.
Okay, I'm with you again. I like Dallas a lot here too. I just think they're the more complete team right now. And their offense is firing on all cylinders. As you said, the number 1 offense in the league, going up against this Kansas City defense, who specifically struggles against the pass. I think Dak Prescott's going to throw the ball all over the yard. I know they're going to be without Amari Cooper, but I think CeeDee Lamb could have a big day. Ezekiel Elliott gets involved in the passing game as well, and Tony Pollard is a nice safety blanket as well coming out of the backfield. I agree with you also that Kansas City, yes, they beat the Raiders, which is we were both a little bit surprised with how that game turned out. But the weeks before that, the opponents were not on the same level as this Dallas team. If they come out and they beat the Cowboys and they cover this week, then maybe I'm changing my tune on the Kansas City Chiefs. But I just can't do that yet against a team as quality as Dallas is. So I'm going to ride Dallas with you as well at plus 2.5.
Okay.
We're going to go a head-to-head matchup this week because we like differing teams in this matchup. So we're going to do Packers, Vikings. You like the Vikings. Tell us why.
Is Packers minus 1.5 or 1?
1.
Yeah, it's a good game. I mean, to me, it's probably the second best game of the week. But I'm going with the Vikings here just because I feel like maybe it's too simple of a go-up, but I just feel like they need the game more. And I think people underrate how good the Vikings are. I mean, they could easily be, what are they, 4-5, the Vikings? They could easily be 6-3, even 7-2. I mean, they've lost so many close games here. 3 overtime games, 1 and 2 in overtime games. I just think they need the game more. I think Green Bay has been on such a run here. They've covered every game except there was one push since week 1. So they're 8-1-1 against the spread, right behind the Cowboys. They've been a great bet. And if they win, I won't be shocked. I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers, but they don't have Aaron Jones. A.J. Dillon's playing well, but not having your top running back always hurts. And the defense has been playing so well all year. I don't know if they'll be able to keep up with Minnesota, though. Minnesota has so many weapons. Kirk Cousins playing really well. I know it's risky to back him in a big game because he usually lets us down. But I just feel like this is their week to show that they're a really good team and a wild card contender. They're at home, and they're getting a point. So I feel like they're going to win the game. And I know it's a little bit of a risky pick, bet against the Pack. I think I've taken the Packers almost every week. I mean, I've picked them a lot. I have them. That's my best bet a couple times. So I like what they're doing, but I just feel like this is Minnesota's week. Hopefully everything gets right for them for once. And last week they had a big win at L.A. I liked them last week, so maybe that pick is making me is influencing this pick. But I'm going to ride them again. Vikings to win the game, 31-26.
Okay. I hear you. I see what you're saying. I just don't trust them. That's my issue with this team. Yes, on paper, there's a lot on that offense. They've played well. Kirk Cousins has played well. But I just don't know if they're ready to hang with some of the better teams in the NFC yet. They haven't proven that to me. Now, if they come out and win this game, completely different story. And sure, the Packers are going to hurt losing Jones, but I like their backup running back. I like Dylan. I think he's a good player.
Thank you.
And I think he could fill in and be, just fine. And, they love the connection to Devontae Adams, Rodgers does. And I don't know if the Vikings secondary is going to be up to par to contain him. And I don't know, when it comes down to Aaron Rodgers versus Kirk Cousins, and Aaron Rodgers is, only giving a point, I feel like I have to take the Packers this week. They've been good to us. I'm going to ride it out and stick with them.
Yep. Okay.
How about a best bet? What's something that jumps out to you?
Yeah, I'm going with a team here that I think is better than people think it is after a few bad losses. The Cincinnati Bengals at the Raiders, I think -1.
Yep.
All right, so I feel like the bye happened at the perfect time for them. They beat Baltimore 41-17 a few weeks ago. Next week, after that, they lose to the Jets. Then they get blown out at home by the Browns. They had a pick six early in that game, 14-point swing. They were going in for a touchdown. Browns brought it back, 7-0 Browns. Game totally went down from there. I think they're a good team. I think they're a young team. So I think the bye was at the perfect time to help them regroup, hit the reset button here against a Raiders team who I think they just dealing with too much drama this season with Gruden and the Henry Ruggs car accident and the DWI. I just feel like taking a toll on them. They're 5-5 now, I think, or no, 5-4. They lost 2 in a row to the Giants and the Chiefs, and I just think that the Bengals here, perfect spot for them to get back on track here. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, they have a good team. I think they're more closer to the team that beat Baltimore than the team that lost to the Jets. So I think they're only given 1 point, so the spread doesn't even matter. I think they're going to win the game, so that's why it's my luck of the week. I'll call it, 34-24.
Okay. I like the Bengals a lot, too, this week. I'm going to go a different direction, though, and I'm going to take the Carolina Panthers -3 against the Washington football team. Now, I know Washington's coming off the big upset win. I'm riding Cam Newton. I think him coming back and playing the way that he did last week, and Matt Rule came out and said that he was going to be starting. I think that's the team's going to rally around him. He's playing with a chip on his shoulder. At least that's what it looked like in his first game. So I think he's going to be amped up to play. And normally that Washington defense has been really, really bad. So I think they're going to be able to put up points. And the Panthers defense has been a little underrated this year, I think, in some spots. So I like them to win the game. I'll go 27-20 for the Panthers to win this one. How about an underdog, Joe? What jumps out to you here?
There's a few underdogs I like. I was going to take the Saints getting 2 at the Eagles, but then I heard that Kamara and a couple of their offensive tackles weren't going to be playing, so I backed off from that. I also like the Bears getting 6 at home against the Ravens off a bye. I think that'll be a close game. And I'm going to go with the Steelers here. I think it's +5.
Yes.
Steelers +5 Sunday night against the Chargers. Basically going to be a home game. The Steelers contingent always travels everywhere. And the LA teams don't have huge fan bases over there that show up. So I think it's basically going to be a home game, or it's going to feel half of it. So I think that's a big factor here. I think 5 points is too much. I think it's a 3-point game either way probably, or a 4-point game. And the Chargers, all they do, they're like the Vikings, who they lost to last week. All they do is play close games. 5 of their games decided by 5 or fewer points. And I think it's 7 or 8 games decided by 7 or fewer points. So all they do is play close games. I don't see them blowing them out. I think I overrated them earlier in the year. I like the coach a lot, Brandon Staley, and I like Herbert a lot, Justin Herbert, the quarterback. They have tons of weapons, but their defense isn't great. Can't stop the run. And I think the Steelers, I think Mike Tomlin's one of the most underrated coaches in the game.
Yep.
And I think they'll show up in prime time. They always seem to win. They always seem to win in prime time. I don't know if that's just a Monday night stat, but I think it's going to be a close game. I think they might even win the game. So getting 5 points feels like a steal with 2 E's. So give me the Steelers.
Okay. For my underdog bet now, I don't think this team wins. I just think this number is too big, and that's the Lions plus 12.5 against the Browns. The Browns, I don't know what they are anymore.
Well, hold on, I think Jared Goff isn't playing. Do you know that?
Yes, I don't even care. Jared Goff's been that bad. That doesn't matter to me. Okay. Couldn't tell you who the backup is, but it doesn't matter to me. I think they're going to do enough to keep it close. I think it'll be a low-scoring game, something like 24-17 Browns. But the 12.5, I just don't think with how Cleveland's been playing outside of their rare the beatdown that they laid on the Bengals a few weeks ago, I don't see how they should be favored over any team, even a winless Lions team at 12.5. And Lions coming off a tie, so maybe that gives them some momentum and energy, and they don't get blown out this week.
Yeah, I first thought I had the line. I was taking the Lions too, but then I thought about it a little bit more. I read some other people's picks, and they made some good points, and I started second guessing myself. And then I'm always big on the motivation factor, and last week they had the tie, so I thought they put so much energy into that, and then they're playing Thanksgiving. So if I'm a player on that team, maybe I do this too often, I guess. If I'm a player on that team, I'm like, all right, we're not going to beat the Browns. Let's focus all our attention on the Bears Thanksgiving. So I see a little bit differently. I agree. It's a big number, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's like 34-10, honestly. The Lions are bad, and I feel like last week was their week to win. But hey, they're not going to go. They're not going to go 0-17.
No, that's one thing they could hang their hat on.
16-1.
So let's run through these real quick. We are both on the Jets plus 3.5 against the Dolphins. Giants and Bucks both on Giants plus 10.5. Cowboys Chiefs both on Cowboys plus 2.5. For our head-to-head Packers and Vikings, I like the Packers -1. Joe is going with the Vikings +1. Best bet, I like the Panthers -3 over Washington. Joe is going Bengals -1 over the Raiders. My underdog, Lions plus 12.5 against the Browns. And Joe is going with the Steelers +5. Joe, thank you as always. Talk again real soon.
All right, Matt. Great job. Thank you.